What's up, Alpha? It's your boy back with another Just a Fan Wrestling, talking about the state of wrestling address, in which we talk about what's going on in wrestling today. There's not a lot of super news besides a little few things that's going on, so we're just gonna talk about how we feel about the current products of WWE, AEW, MLW,
We're less
Impact
than
stuff. I
30
don't want.
days. We're 30 days away from Mania.
Yeah, we got Brock and Omos. We're gonna talk about that. And we're gonna talk about some WWE and AEW free agency rumors that's going around. So FTR is up in April, I think.
This is basically the crossover episode of Just a Fan Wrestling meets Casual Conversations. We're gonna casually conversate about wrestling.
We're gonna catch the
what
conversation.
it's like right now.
Yeah. How do you feel about the product right now as a whole, Tor? How you feel about? Oh, introduce yourself too. I didn't even get you.
You already know. Afro-Commie 765. You already know. Your local neighborhood scumbag here to give the folks their daily dose of dirtbag, same gimmick, different day. And to answer your question, for the first time, and man, I'm almost sort of weary to say this, but for the first time in a long time, I'm optimistic about the state of wrestling. There's a plethora of different paths in multiple different promotions. I'm sure we can break down the nuance of it later, but I'm optimistic about the state of wrestling going forward. We could have a very bright future ahead of us, or we could have something that everyone's gonna hate. But myself personally, I'm optimistic. I'm ready to see where everything's going. We're seeing a lot of stars we didn't think would blossom, starting to blossom. Who'd have thought that 2023, the end of 2022, who thought that would be the year that Dominic Mysterio blossomed into an actual heel? Like he's got heat. The kid's got good heat. It's great. We've got Rhea Ripley coming of age. We're about to get Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair again at Mania. I mean, the shit's gonna be epic. That plain and simple. Lita. If you told me last year that Lita and Becky Lynch were gonna we're gonna start off 2023 as the tag team champs, I'd have been like, that's crazy. But it actually works because that's the only belt that Becky hasn't held in the women's division. So they cleaned that up nicely, and so Becky's held all the women's belts now, and plus Lita got a belt 2023. She looked really good in that match. Spoiler alert, I think that's my female match of the week. But yeah. It's just, I'm optimistic. I like it. I saw a lot of people hating on the Lita thing. I like it. I like that we got Becky. It's a good way to respect Becky. Becky deserves to have held all the belts at some point in time. I don't think that Io and freaking Dakota are taking it too hard, who wouldn't want to lose a belt to freaking Lita and Becky Lynch. I think this will lead into hopefully Damage Control maybe doing some singles things. All three of them are super good singles competitors, even though I like that they can still be a unit, but I feel like a unit of but that could then cause some dynamic problems with the amount of belts being around. But either way, I'm here for the Becky Lynch and Lita tag team. I don't know how long you keep that on. Then I mean, I guess this is just to give Lita one more Mania moment, which I'm all for that. But yeah, like I said, optimistic. I like even from AEW. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going into Revolution somewhat intrigued too. I think it's kind of crazy adding Danhausen and Orange Cassidy as the final tag team in that four-way they're going to do for the tag titles. I understand that they're doing that just because they didn't have an All-Atlantic Championship match lined up for Orange Cassidy. I see what Tony's doing there. Regardless of the lackluster build, I'm still intrigued to see the Elite versus the House of Black. I think that could be a really good trios match. I think the House of Black would be a way better trios tag champions than the Elite are, because we can already tell that the Young Bucks are missing the tag division. Kenny Omega is a star as a single. We all know he's the fucking belt collector. He's the sweeper. He's the fucking everything. He's Kenny Omega at the end of the day. So I think that'll be there'd be no shame in drawing the trios tags to the House of Black. Brody King, Aleister Black, Buddy Matthews, all at least A-tier wrestlers, in my opinion. B-tier, if you want to be salty towards them, all of them are solid workers and freaking amazing, especially when it comes to the striking aspects. Brody King's got one of the best cannonballs in the game. But it's a believable. I'd find totally believable if they take the belts off the Elite. I don't know if that's how it's going to go, but hopefully that is. Then we can get the Young Bucks back in the tag mix, get Kenny Omega back in the singles run, whether it be for the TNT title or the World Championship heat. I feel like eventually Omega's going to want to hold all the belts, and the TNT title is the only belt he hasn't held. So, like I said, all in all, I'm super optimistic about the state of wrestling right now. I know before anyone says anything, I realize I didn't mention the AEW's women's division, and we all know why.
How do I feel? I think it's in a relatively better place than I did last year at this time. I think AEW fell a little bit, but it's still rather high.
I think the viewership fell, but the quality rose to a certain degree when the whole production quality boom came.
It did, but the storyline wise is getting progressively worse.
I gotta go run my cigarettes.
Yeah, but I think WWE is improving. I have a lot of problems still with WWE. I still think they missing the ship on some things. I think they focused overly. I think they count on the bloodline, and so they attempt to try a few things that could be a little better. But it's WWE in a much better place than it was last year. And the thing that WWE has over AEW in the state of the wrestling thing is, I want to watch WWE live compared to AEW. I can watch later on. That's the one thing AEW has that a problem. Like, for instance, Tori tell me, "Oh, this match was amazing between Orange Cassidy and so, and I'm like, "Oh, let me go watch it later on." I don't want to be late when the Bloodline story go on. I don't want to even be late when Seth Rollins make a new meme every week. Like, I don't want to be late to the bye-bye or the big red shoes.
Out on ex-con Dom, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, and then you catch it, like, everybody talked about it. That's the thing WWE has right now that AEW doesn't. But I don't think AEW is a bad product by any means. It's just nothing compelling enough that I have to. That's must watch at the moment.
You see MJF taking a little shot at Adam Cole on Twitter over some remarks that Britt Baker made in an interview.
I did not see that yet.
Yeah, he said he should get his lady under control, baby. Because she was just talking. She was on wrestling Barstool's sports Barstool's wrestling pod talking to Brandon Walker about it, and he asked her about MJF. And
we are joined with the algorithm man himself, Gerald. How you doing, Gerald? We just talking about the state of wrestling, how we feel about it now. I said AEW is still pretty good. It's just not must see. I think it's way better than last year because WWE is must see. Even if I have a problem with a lot of stuff on WWE still. I don't think Triple H has broken it down completely, but it's a lot of still must see things.
We know Vince is still in there chirping now for sure. Even though even the wrestlers say that Vince has told them that Triple H gets final say, he's just back around. He's not making any big.
Well, we did find out a little more on that Brock thing because Brock, like,
I mean, we all know if Brock didn't want to do a match, he ain't gonna fucking do it. He's Brock.
That's what I'm saying. So it was supposed to be Brock versus Bray, and Brock like, I'm not doing it. Vince wants Omos.
I thought it was gonna be Brock versus Bobby Lashley.
No, it was Brock versus Bray. That was the pitch match for WrestleMania.
Oh, so instead we're gonna get Bray versus Bobby, maybe.
Yeah.
Because Brock said he didn't want to work with Bray.
I like Bray versus.
We know the reason why, because Vince wanted Omos, and that's who Brock does. What Brock loves Vince.
And Brock also, I mean, Brock,
Which makes me feel better about the bench situation, by the way.
Simpler match situation than freaking Bray Wyatt is.
And we need to talk about that because, I mean,
I think Bobby Lashley can do it though. This is the final thing though. If this match doesn't get over with me, I'm calling this gimmick a failure.
I'm there.
This is it. This is my last straw. Even though we haven't got this match announced yet, I'm completely and totally open-minded still about Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley. But it better be, even if it's just a straight-up wrestling match, I will take it. If it's just a straight-up, because we know Bray Wyatt can brawl. Like, we know that for a fact. I watched the NXT tapes fucking not too long ago on the Peacock. I remember fucking super fresh right now. Bray Wyatt could brawl in NXT. Bobby Lashley is the perfect foil to that. You know what I mean? That technicality, that fucking... We've seen Bobby Lashley be a legitimate... he fought for Bellator. We know he wrestled in college. We know he's got it. Sometimes there's nothing better than seeing freaking the random brawler beat the super technical guy. Or vice versa. I feel like Bray Wyatt, if they work Bray Wyatt right, he could have a Seth Rollins-esque thing where we didn't care when he lost, if they did it right.
Yeah. But like I said, there's a lot in there. We're gonna get how Gerald feels about wrestling. But I feel like it's still a lot of people in limbo in WWE right now.
I told him I was optimistic, Gerald. I said I was optimistic. For the first time in a long time, I'm optimistic about wrestling going forward.
Yeah. Like, by the way, I don't want to pretend like Triple H is doing the perfect job.
Yeah,
a lot of people in limbo. It's a lot of people I don't know where they're supposed to go. I don't know what Mustafa Ali is doing. It's like some weird positive gimmick. Maybe it works.
I don't know, but it's kind of funny. On his social media game's getting better though. Just the random videos of this nigga dancing does make me laugh when I see him on the timeline. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Chad Gable, by the way, is being MVP like in these last few weeks in his wrestling matches. I ain't gonna lie.
Chad Gable versus Cody was a banger. It almost got my match of the week. I ain't even gonna lie. I like seeing Chad Gable just wrestling niggas because we know he's got the juice.
He had one with Seth Rollins the other week too. That was amazing.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
Chad Gable is him. I'm thinking they shifted his gimmick and they're gonna get Otis in the maximum.
They're saying that was a Cody call. I thought I saw. They were saying Cody really wanted to work with Chad.
Everybody should want to work with that man. Is amazing.
He's an Olympian, bro. Come on.
Very, very, very good. I mean, so is Otis.
Yeah, Otis is better gimmick-wise, though. Don't get me wrong. Otis is good ring. I loved Heavy Machinery in NXT. I think it was horrible what they did to him on the main roster. Heavy Machinery could have been a good tag team, but we all know how Vince felt about tag teams, and he showed it with all of the tag teams he nixed from NXT that came up. But Otis with the max.
Oh, Monte, that's from the Facebook page. That's Monte. So if y'all don't know, that's Monterey from over on that media.
Always talking shit. Tell me, Otis with the maximum male models isn't peak internet hilarity, bro.
Mansoor and Otis are gonna be hilarious together,
bro.
Yeah. Maximum male models is one of the things that he fixed.
They should be the inaugural WWE 6-man champs. The maximum male models are the first. Bring out the belts for them. That's a banger.
Mansoor is Glenn. Gerald. I don't know if you watch the YouTube of the maximum male model. They are hilarious.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, they've been really, really good. They do not deserve.
It's just a shame they don't get any TV time outside. Well, they're starting to get a little more now, but as far as ring time,
And Otis with him are gonna be hilarious. I think that gets Chad Gable away from Otis, and Chad Gable gets to get stuff off.
Do y'all remember when Mansoor was Mansoor, and he was supposed to be like the big the big Saudi Arabian connection? Like he was gonna be they had him come out at one of the crown jewels, and he went over some legend. I can't even remember who it was at this point, but no, he didn't go over. He ended up losing, but he had a good match with some legend. But yeah. Because it was the same time when they introduced us to freaking Veer, and look, Veer never made it. Veer Mahan is still out there somewhere being a great guy, and just never made it to TV. Do y'all even remember the Veer Mahan storyline where the whole social media thing where, I mean, dude was just super funny. But
yeah.
He's on NXT now in a tag team that's actually
oh, well,
good.
you know, I don't watch NXT, so, well, yeah. I'm glad he made it somewhere then, god damn it.
Them and the Creed brothers had a really good match.
The Creed brothers need to come on up to the main roster. Them boys got the juice.
Really good in the ring.
But Bianca Belair is must see every week, even if it's just to see what she wears.
Asuka got to take the belt, right? I want to know your guys' thoughts on that. Does Asuka take the belt or does Bianca retain?
I don't know what else Bianca can do right now. So
that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I don't know what else there is.
I think she's her and Asuka gonna steal the show at WrestleMania anyway, and she's gonna be missing WrestleMania.
Bruh, do you think they're stealing the show from Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes? Because I don't think that's
Bianca
or Sammy and KO versus the Usos.
I love Bianca and I love Asuka, but bruh, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, nigga, that's just gonna be different. And I still think if we get the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on night one, that would be
everything.
That would be an ultimate show of Vince isn't in charge, because there is no universe does Vince McMahon have a fucking tag team match main event any night of WrestleMania, and we know that's the truth. There's no universe with that.
My gotta get on WrestleMania somehow. I don't know what you gonna do.
He should be a single. I hate that because I see Angelo Dawkins like the improvement. Angelo Dawkins always been good, but I've seen how he's fucking gotten better over the time. But Montez Ford, that guy's got it at the moment, and it's just something completely different. And they're gonna have to put him, like, especially. I don't know what
Johnny Gargano's gonna do. And
his showing in the Elimination Chamber, bro.
And Bronson Reed.
Johnny Gargano fucking showed the fuck out in the Elimination Chamber, like for real.
So I'm like, you got to figure out how to. I know he don't want that many matches. Maybe just put him in a battle royal and the winner gets a championship spot in the future or something. And make it important.
Listen.
Only put good people in the battle royal. This is
a testament to what Zelmay said earlier. Keep in mind, everybody, we're talking about the WWE mid card like this. This is the mid card we're talking about with this kind of enthusiasm. This isn't any main event, though we are talking about Sammy but as far as Montez Ford and everything else, this is all mid card stuff. It's just it's that must see factor as to where freaking AEW is giving you quality in ring stuff, but the stories. I mean, TK needs help. TK made a big.
You can tell they improving.
Made a big mistake when he let Triple H take back Gabe Sapolsky. If you've been watching this show, you know how long I have campaigned for Gabe Sapolsky to have a job anywhere in wrestling. That man booked Perk Angle, for God's sakes, bro. Let's not act like that wasn't an amazing wrestling angle. Even though Kurt Angle was doing all kinds of wild shit, random moonsaults for no reason and shit, he wrestled some of the best matches ever in that run in TNA. But
y'all ain't gonna tell me that Young Bucks crap was cool. That was a lamest finish I ever seen him out like. That was a terrible finish.
I'm saying there was no way in hell anyone was going to tell me that Gabe Sapolsky should not be working for any major wrestling promotion. And the fact that it took Triple H being smart enough to be like, damn, I don't know why we fired you. Here, have your job back. When fucking Tony Khan let him sit out of work for a year because he wanted to do nothing but fan book his show and then wonder why his audience will never break 1 million or break fucking. Have we ever had more than 2 million people watching any Dynamite? I don't know, except for maybe the premiere.
I think it was 1.3, the highest, isn't it?
I don't know, but I believe that. That sounds perfectly right to me. But if Tony Khan's gonna have to, and it doesn't help that he just won Booker of the Year again on the wrestler. Like, that's not helping him think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be booking my show. Look, Uncle Dave and freaking the Wrestling Observer newsletter, freaking fan base thinks that I'm the Booker of the Year. It's crazy. But you got to remember, they also said that freaking NWA and what else were better than WWE along with AEW? Control your narrative was better than WWE and Wrestling Observer. But we know that they very much have the we are against the evil empire because Vince never embraced old Uncle Dave back in the day like all the other, like the Japanese promoters did. Vince was like, "Fuck your dirt sheet, bro."
But hey, thanks to that story that Brock said no to Bray and wanted what Vince wanted, kind of made it seem that hey, we're trying to go somewhere different, but Brock wouldn't do it. So that actually helps the Vince argument that he's not quite
But
as bad.
I'd rather see Brock versus I'd rather see Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley than Brock versus Bray though.
But all I'm saying is that helps the argument against Vince a little more. Yeah. That Brock
like
chose
I said,
to
if
do
they
want
to prove Vince isn't in control, like I said, Sammy and Kevin Owens versus the Usos main event night one.
Yeah.
Then you have Cody versus Roman main event night 2. Fucking like I said, I will never say anything about Vince being in control if a fucking tag team match can main event WrestleMania.
But yeah, I want to go over this point again. The things I don't like is I don't know where a lot of people are going at this point. Hopefully we can get that fixed. A lot of people, Bronson Reed, he's booked very strong.
Oh, I want to know how you guys, speaking of people not knowing where they're going, how do you guys feel about Eddie Kingston's quitting AEW to go over to be on Ring of Honor?
That's one of my things I hate. I hate the quit angle. After you just did a quit angle with MJF, it's like 6 months apart.
No, but this nigga didn't just quit. He said he quit, but then immediately after he's like, "I'm gonna be at Ring of Honor."
That's how you know it's a quit angle.
Owns both of them.
I mean, it makes no sense.
I mean, it's obviously an angle. It's just because freaking they know they don't have enough TV time, but they want to try and justify using Eddie Kingston because he's amazing. So you move him over to
Eddie Kingston always is crazy with whoever you got.
No, but listen, I'm telling you how Tony Khan thinks right now. Who's the Ring of Honor champion right now?
Claudio.
Who has a super long history with Claudio, a rivalry that fucking spanned all of Chikara, some of the greatest fucking independent matches ever.
Hey, I'm not paying $9.99 to watch this.
Eddie Kingston did that, folks. Eddie Kingston and Claudio Eddie Kingston just made a big show about quitting AEW, going over to Ring of Honor. Claudio is the Ring of Honor champion. Oh my Lord. It's fan booking 101. And the horrible thing is, people probably haven't even seen the Chikara matches, which if you haven't, please go watch them. They're very, very good.
I don't think people are going to go. I don't think people are excited for ROH. Paying $9.99 to watch ROH after people wanted it off TV.
I'm not going to. I might illegally stream it, but that's how I go. That's how I roll.
Tor, all I got to tell you about that is when it was on TV, they like, get ROH off our TVs now. You think they're going to pay for it?
No, but I'm saying
am I wrong,
Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli is a...
nobody's going to watch it. I'm sorry.
I'm going to watch it.
They had ROH stuff. Tor, they had the first show the other day, and I promise you, nobody was talking about nothing.
Okay, this is going to sound heartless. Do you think they should have capitalized on the death of Jay Briscoe more?
I also think people cared enough. I'm sorry.
Well, no, because I know they put the special for him up there, and I know it did decent views, but I feel like those were just like single month subscribers for that. I don't know if that's remained consistent, but
I mean,
because I want Ring of Honor to mean something, because Ring of Honor has some of the best matches I remember. Because when I was a teenager, I went through this whole, like I was Uncle Dave, like I was a wrestling. I didn't like WWE anymore. It's when they were first starting to go PG, so I was like, I'm gonna watch Ring of Honor and Dragon Gate and Chikara, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. You know what I mean? All these random independent promotions that sold random DVDs on the internet. You know what I mean?
It feels second place to AEW, and that's never a good thing to have a show feel second place. Rampage feels second place, and it gets no view.
But I mean, isn't Tony Khan basically doing what Vince did with ECW back in the day?
Basically.
Only he doesn't have enough TV time. Vince McMahon was able to put ECW in a whole nother time slot on the Sci-Fi Network while he still had Raw on USA and freaking SmackDown on Fox. Tony can't do that. He doesn't have the TV connects like that. Or if he does, they're not willing to give him another time slot, even though they want to say that Dynamite brought 4 million people to the channel on Wednesday. Those are wild statistics, but that's neither here nor there. But it's basically he's trying to do what Vince did, but he doesn't have the real estate for it in the TV market. Where Vince was like, here, we can throw ECW. They'll take 2 hours on Sci-Fi, which was such a random placing. But either way.
Look, this one come out. Roman come out, you automatically look at your TV and be like, what they gonna do? You don't want to miss
it. It's WWE right now just can't miss. Like, I mean, down to Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Do you guys think? Yeah, Seth Rollins and Logan Paul is
hilarious. Bye bitch. Bye bye bitch.
And I still pop every time I see a photo of fucking The Miz getting stomped by the big red boots.
Like Seth is really.
That's that nigga.
I saw Brian complain about what's his character. I'm like, I don't care. I don't know what it is either. It's funny and fun.
Bruh, Seth Rollins won Wrestler of the Year with a 76% match loss rate. That says it all, bro.
That's Seth.
Seth's that damn good. Like I said, that's what I feel like. If they work Bray Wyatt right, he could be like that. He could be one of those guys that could lose and we not care but he's got the pedigree and he's got the mic skills, and the in-ring doesn't have to be. It's got to be something more.
Yeah,
Bronson Reed is looking like he finally getting a real. I always said one thing I do like about WWE now is that they letting people sink or swim, and some of y'all sinking, and some of y'all swimming.
Yo, but I love, like I said, we talked about it.
Bronson Reed and Karrion Kross.
We talked about it in the episode after Elimination Chamber. They did Bronson Reed perfectly in the Elimination Chamber. Hit that nigga with 3 finishers before you get him out of there. Make him look like a fucking monster if you're gonna have him lose.
Yeah. Bronson Reed, Karrion Kross came in, no reaction. Now one gets a reaction, one kind of.
Bruh, Karrion Kross needs to, if he'd shave his head again, bro, he'd be back in action.
I actually like the fact they keep switch. I like the fact too that they switch up gimmicks in WWE. Like if the gimmick not working, they will give a storyline. Okay, Baron Corbin with JBS not working. Let's break that up. Okay, Karrion Kross doing what he was doing. Let's give him a card gimmick and let him switch it up for a reason. It's not just they just switching gimmick. They have they leading into reasons to switch. Mustafa Ali getting advice from Dolph Ziggler. It's like, hey, you need to be more positive. And you've been sad on the internet
motivation, folks.
Yeah, you've been sad for so long, and then he said, "Okay, I'm gonna take your advice." Gets a win, and now he's all positive. Yeah, there's reasons to the change of characters, and I actually like, even if they don't work, I kind of like that. There's a reason. Used to instead of them going away for 3 months and then just coming back different.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate real quick. Is that too big of an immersion break though?
What? Now, if you give me a reason, they got reasons to why somebody would do something.
But if there's reason after reason, like everyone just decides to change up every once in a while, everyone doesn't like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, he changes gimmicks masterfully. It's a gradual change. He went from, he was what?
I don't think Baron Corbin hasn't completely changed yet. It's just like a slow process.
But man, they're having to switch him out a lot. You got to think, Vince wouldn't let you if you weren't Mick Foley, you wasn't switching up gimmicks like that with Vince. Mm-hmm. The Undertaker wore nothing but black for 30 years, and they didn't talk in public damn near.
I'd rather they do that than what they did with Lacey Evans, which would just switch her gimmick every month.
God, I don't even like thinking about that.
Different. Why are you the same?
Make her work.
I figured you'd like her though, because she was such a fence sitter. She was heel one week, freaking face the next. I figured that was right up your alley.
She's pretty good in the ring, but she doesn't. Her gimmick is.
I like her in the ring, and she looks amazing. She's got the look, she's got the height, she's got the physique, she's got the skills. She's just garbage on the mic, and they tried to do too much.
This crowd is cussing Roman out like crazy right now.
As they should. He's a fucking dirtbag.
I mean, it just works.
We've watched this guy manipulate his whole family and then torture a poor ginger Jewish kid. What are you talking about? Of course we're booing this man. That's why Cody Rhodes is going to ride in and finish him off at WrestleMania.
You know what's dope, though? He is such a bad guy. They boo and cuss, and as soon as he said acknowledge me, all these people stood up and did like
all the ones went up in the sky, bro.
I'm like, you are alpha male. If I'm like, Gerald, and then you like acknowledge me, then you just put your finger up.
You just put your finger up.
You suck ass nigga. Sammy's got your number. You running scared. Acknowledge me.
Yo, they acknowledged him in Sammy's whole time.
No, they're still fuck you, nigga. Got the one in the sky. I hate you, Roman. I hate you.
I wrote in our group chat. I wrote in our group chat. I said, "Yo, they failing the assignment. You cannot stand up when he say acknowledge me."
Yeah, bruh.
They cried high for Cody Roman first meeting.
Yeah, bruh, you gotta think how long have you been waiting for these niggas to come face to face?
Which is more on WWE. I mean, you guys.
They better not touch each other though. Here is I don't think they should have.
Roman the gas like Cody Rhodes at it.
Do you think he can do it though? I feel like Cody's like he's like, nigga, I had a whole company on my back too, and I jumped ship to come take over yours.
He can eat that up though.
Yeah.
You ran away to come here. You think you're gonna take over what I built? I don't have to run your company. I made this first place.
If Roman could go in, if there's no wrestling promotion in the world today that would turn down a Roman Reigns appearance.
Yeah, in the slightest. Not even the AEW.
They wouldn't think twice about it, nigga.
AEW fan be like, Roman Reigns the most overrated person. He AEW say, acknowledge me, the whole crowd stand up.
Roman shows up at the G1 Climax, staring down the Rainmaker, bruh.
And just do this, and then the whole crowd just gonna do it with him.
The Japanese crowd would break their rules. They would start openly cheering. Them niggas would be standing up. It wouldn't be no sit. It would be like when Shinsuke Nakamura used to have the bitches carry him out on the palanquin.
But like I said, it's a lot of stuff Triple H can improve on. But when stuff hidden,
we're live. We can't get caught up watching wrestling.
Gunther is
and that's what's tight. It's like we don't even have Gunther and Austin's, title defense, and they both getting matches.
Hey, shout out to Gunther. I feel like it's been overshadowed. He's coming in. He's already broken a few records, but he's coming in on record time with the Intercontinental title, which is amazing. That's what needed to happen. Yeah, and I think he's been the best Intercontinental champion we've had in a long time.
In a minute. Last good one was Sammy, to be real.
I'm hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to think, because that's when Sammy had like the Marxist outfit going on. He had like the Gustavo freaking.
He won that ladder match with Jeff Hardy.
Oh, that Rey Mysterio and that respect thing.
I like Rey Mysterio sort of connecting with Legado del Fantasma. Legado versus
you saw him give his daddy the mask. That was dope.
Yeah, Legado versus Judgment Day would be a fire. Yeah, tell me you guys wouldn't like that. Legado versus Judgment Day.
It'd be fine.
I wish Legado got with Zelina. Because Zelina done got beat by Rhea so many times.
Well, no, I'm talking about give Ray something to do at WrestleMania. You put Ray with Escobar and one of the other Legado del Fantasma guys. Even though I saw somewhere that Finn said he could be looking to expand the Judgment Day. So if they did add one more dude,
Jay White.
that would shut the fuck up because I low-key thought about that. And I was like, that would be wild. And they would have so much Bullet Club power at that point. You got to think, they would have the originator, which they already have, Finn Balor, the creator of Bullet Club, the original hated Gaijin himself, him and Bad Luck Fale running roughshod through New Japan. We've got AJ Styles, who came in.
God, Roman is a monster.
But,
by the way, for y'all that don't know what I'm saying, Roman just said, let me make you more comfortable, and then threw the WWE title on the floor that his daddy wanted, like, this is trash to me. That's gaslight 101.
Exactly, but that's what we expect from Roman. We got to remember, though, this isn't a watch-along.
Hey, this is what we're talking about. Those must-see live. You got to want to see. But, yeah, y'all, what y'all think about the AEW WWE free agency? I know Alexa Bliss is supposed to be a free agency. She's not being used at all.
I think Alexa Bliss is low-key done with the sport, kind of.
I think she is, too. After she got married to whoever she got
Ryan Cabrera.
Yeah.
Even though I thought that, does that nigga still make music, or is he still...
I don't know nothing about the boy.
I was gonna say he had a hit back in the 2000s. I remember it.
She had fun on Pat McAfee shows and doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean,
she had fun doing.
I think the hate she got after the whole
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, after the gimmick infringement we saw with Bray Wyatt, if you want to call it that, her basically stealing the gimmick only to get selfed afterwards too, and then have to go through therapy.
Yeah.
Then it comes back, and then you got Uncle Howdy, and I don't know what Uncle Howdy really do. He just jumps off buildings and things and misses because he jumps too far.
That was the wildest elbow drop. Hey, shout out to LA Knight. He tried to get underneath that motherfucker. He tried to get underneath that motherfucker, but Uncle Howdy was just off. But the good thing there was an explosion because Uncle Howdy got the
one who I think needs a WrestleMania match.
Uncle Howdy?
LA Knight.
Oh, I was like, damn, Gerald. I did not expect that from Gerald.
No.
I don't even know if Bray needs one at this point, but I'm willing to give Bobby versus Bray a chance. If it's Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt, but it's the last chance I'm giving.
I'm gonna hang on your chance because
if it's not a banger, I'm done. And you can go back and check the tape. Go back and check a year ago. I came into this a firm Bray Wyatt fan through all the shit. I thought that he shouldn't have been fired, all that shit. But, bruh, bad wrestling's bad wrestling.
You're starting to see it, and I hate it.
I was gonna say I said that too.
One match too. This is crazy.
When I felt like he was. That's why I'm saying I'm giving the Bobby Lashley because we've only had the one match. But when he was started getting the promos in circles, and I felt like he was talking in circles, I was like, this nigga's gotta have a match. And then he had a match, and it wasn't that great. So I was like, damn, this nigga needs to have another match. Because I want to like Bray Wyatt so bad. I like Bray Wyatt's past stuff. Like I said, I was watching NXT Bray Wyatt. It was good.
He gaslighting the shit out of Cody Rhodes. That's some.
You might want to turn it down a little bit though, because I don't know if they can hear it, but I can hear it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like how we was introduced to Bray and just Bobby walking down and Bray dancing. I don't like that at all.
Do you think they were almost too cryptic with Bray's coming back? Could we have, with the QR codes and all that jazz? I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're looking for interactiveness, that was top tier.
Top tier.
But was it too much? And then we felt a little bit let down. Like,
I just think they drug on the LA Knight thing for 3 months before he had a match.
Yeah, and
how long can you have a rivalry without fighting or even touching each other?
I mean, there's only one thing you can think of when you think of LA Knight. It's just LA
Knight got over off there. He's still over.
And think he was doing when he was Eli Drake and freaking NWA and fucking all that shit. You know what I mean? It just needed a mainstay. Did you know that he actually did the mocap for the WWE 2K22? LA Knight did the mocap for a lot
Yeah,
of
he
the
said it
male
on the.
dudes.
They showed him on the interview doing all of this stuff.
But that shit's dope. 2K23 coming out. I don't know if it's up for pre-order yet. I'm gonna have to get my pre-order in though.
Roman Reigns, the first 99 overall wrestler. And
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I was about to say I couldn't argue with it
You
at
gotta
all,
put him
bro.
in 5 finishing moves just to beat him now.
Just to beat him. Hey, that's how it's been.
But I like the whole how this year's showcase mode is John Cena, but you're going through as the niggas that beat him. You're not actually being John Cena again like you did in the old one back in the day, because John Cena was already a showcase match before. I like that they're going the opposite way. Like, here are the best John Cena matches that he lost. I'm intrigued. I hope they put the Shinsuke Nakamura loss in there. I think that'll be a fun match to do. Hopefully
Well, I can't wait to do the RVD coming entrance.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's basic. It looks like it's just going to be
getting the CM Punk. Put CM Punk in the game.
That would be the sickest.
That would be pretty wild.
That would damn near be a fatality to Tony Khan.
They can do it. They literally just have to put him in for that one character and they own the rights to that one match.
Okay, since we're just talking everything wrestling, y'all niggas gonna buy Fight Forever?
Ain't it like free? Ain't it like forever after you buy it, you don't never have to like buy a new one?
I have no idea.
I think if it's like that, I buy it, and then it'd be like I never have to buy it again.
So you mean they just constantly update it so it wouldn't be like 2K and you just get installment? I think that would get stale after a while because you're gonna want to change the graphics at some point. Freaking, I think they slightly regret going. I know they wanted the old school feeling graphics, but I think
the THQ.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I'm talking about, and you know they had hell. Even with those graphics, think they damn near couldn't get a teen rating from all the blood they wanted in there. Man, I'm kind of Hangman versus. I'm fully ready for like John Moxley to like lose a member of some sort at Revolution. John Moxley versus Hangman Page, Texas Death Match.
Under 95% he bleeding.
Oh, there's 100% chance that he's bleeding. There's not. He might be bleeding before he comes to the ring. After that promo that he sold from that they had on Wednesday's Dynamite that they had taped from the Dynamite before, or Rampage, whenever that was, where he got that crazy amount of juice at the end in the Evil Uno match. So I think it was last week's Dynamite. That shit. But I'm kind of intrigued. If you've watched the show, you know I'm not the biggest fan of John Moxley or Hangman, but I think I'm gonna enjoy them beating each other to death with barbed wire in my own special way. It's like two of my most, and usually you wouldn't think you'd get to see this. Baby faces. This is crazy if you really think about it. Two baby faces are about to go into a Texas death match. Come on. Because who's the heel out of John Moxley and Hangnail? Who's the heel?
Blackpool Comeback Club is slick. The dumbest storyline we have ever heard, and it didn't take advantage of none of the things they could have.
Now you got Yuta and fucking Claudio Breaking Bad and beating up the Dark Order and shit. And that's going to make Eddie Kingston come in on Ring of Honor, and we're probably never going to get to see it, which sucks.
The Combat Club kind of went out the window.
The Blackpool Combat Club died 3 different times, and those were the 3 different times they killed off fucking William Regal. Mm-hmm. They had John Moxley tell him off and tell him to leave and never come back once. Then they had him come back and freaking MJF or whatever that second time he came back, and Bryan Danielson stopped him. And no. Then the second time was when MJF knocked him out, and then he came back a third time with a pre-taped "if anything happened to me" message. Like,
they didn't touch each other, Tor.
Blackpool Combat Club, good. That's what like I said, they shouldn't. Don't do it. I think it was a fuck up in last week's Dynamite or the whichever Dynamite when they let Bryan Danielson and MJF get into it.
He knocked him clean.
Don't touch each other before the fucking title match. God damn. This is what the people are paying to see.
Tori hate play-by-plays, but
the people are paying to see them fight each other on the pay-per-view. Why would you have them fight beforehand? As you were saying, play-by-play, give it to him.
Roman Reigns told Cody
about that.
Roman Reigns told Cody Rhodes that everything that your father never teach you, I will. and that's his class remark. And I'm like, this man a gaslight demon. Shout out to him.
Hey, Roman Reigns in-ring psychology, S tier, bro.
Hey, he moved straight to S.
He was part of that dusty
Tor, you argue with me, Tor? Huh? Everybody like, when I said Roman and moved up to S tier, everybody like, you gonna move him up? I'm like, yeah. At this point, yeah.
Did y'all see that Sammy match?
But I'm talking about in-ring psychology wise, like promos. He has gotten up there, and I attribute a lot of that. I mean, you can't be around fucking Paul Heyman, one of the greatest men on the mic in the whole business ever, and not get better. I wouldn't think, unless you're Brock Lesnar. But that's just because Brock didn't promo at all. It was always Heyman talking.
Brock
Lesnar.
Hey, can y'all tell that Brock kind of phoning it in right now?
Why wouldn't he, bro? He has got a contract for a couple of appearances a year. They're paying him fucking probably $8 to $10 million for 3 or 4 appearances a year at pay-per-views. What? He's in his 40s now. That nigga ain't trying to do nothing but wrestle his 4 matches a year and hunt elk in Saskatchewan, bro.
Well, I think he said it's about to wrap it up. That's what he told people on Raw the other day. That what they were reporting. I don't know
if that's so, he deserves it. Brock Lesnar's had an amazing career, bro. People forget Brock Lesnar debuted in 2001, bro. He came up from OVW.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking 2003 is when he took off. People forget when he left. Before he went to the Minnesota Vikings and however long he was there, he went to Japan, held the fucking IWGP heavyweight title hostage, wouldn't drop it to anybody. The only way that they could get him to drop it was Antonio Inoki had to call fucking Vince McMahon in America, because Vince, as we know, has a soft spot for Brock. Even if Brock wasn't working for him, he cares about Brock. The only way that he wouldn't lose to Shinsuke Nakamura. Brock refused to drop the belt to Shinsuke Nakamura, so they had to have Kurt Angle fly over. They had to get Vince's permission to have Kurt Angle fly over, wrestle, take the belt off of Brock, and then lose to Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, Brock is a demon, bro. He don't give a fuck. He does what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm not going to drop the belt to I'm not dropping the belt to Shinsuke Nakamura, which is crazy because now they're in WWE together. But think, Antonio Inoki literally had to call Vince McMahon and be like, will you please send Kurt Angle over? Because he's one of the only people Brock's willing to drop the belt to.
Omos. Do Omos. I gotta show y'all something too that I didn't get the chance to.
Do you think old Brock back then would have let Omos take the belt off him, considering that every black champion in WWE's history lost their belt to Brock Lesnar?
Omos ain't got no belt.
That's a real stat though. You can check it out, people. Every black champion in WWE has lost their belt since the WWE Championship.
Bianca ain't lost yet.
Every male
Brock gotta beat Bianca at WrestleMania.
They've all lost their belt. If Brock Lesnar, he found a random Money in the Bank briefcase from fucking 10 years ago. He found the Brock boombox, comes back with it, cashes in on Bianca. She gets an F5. He fucking spears.
Did Montez come out hot?
Spears Asuka, takes the women's championship off of him and leaves.
And Montez be hot running through the back.
Shit, Montez better think about what happened to Kofi. 26 seconds. It was less than 26 seconds. Wasn't it like 8 or 9 seconds? One F5, nigga.
Daniel Bryan talked about it.
One F5, nigga.
That was part of the reason why Daniel left.
He was like, "That's crazy."
Daniel Bryan did put out a lot of work to make Kofi Mania happen.
Yeah,
bro. He busted his ass.
Yeah.
And Kofi deserved it. It was a good moment. I enjoyed Kofi Mania.
Oh,
and then Brock said, "Nope, no Black History."
He was like, "Hey, yo, Vince, let me get that belt up off that nigga for you."
What Big E at? Him too.
Yeah. Let me knock
him too.
Yeah, I was gonna say he got it off the Rock too. That was back in the day. And then, like I said, Bobby Lashley, let me get that nigga. I'll let you get it back, but you're gonna lose it later anyways. I mean, if you're black and you touch that WWE heavyweight,
Tori, you gotta remember he also caused Bobby to lose the second time when he F5 for no reason.
He F5 for no reason. He was just mad.
He just showed up to Raw one day and F5 Bobby. And I'm like, why did you do that?
The belt.
Black people ain't supposed to have the belt when I'm around.
Yep.
That was 20. What it 20 years ago today that not today. 20 years ago today that Triple H did the racist promo on Raw.
About Booker T.
That was 20 years ago today.
Damn,
that's 23.
At least at least he waited for Black History Month to be over before he did that.
And then he proceeded to the longest 3 count in history over Booker T.
Booker
T. Yeah.
Yo, the man said that.
I still love Triple H though.
I'm like, no. Vince made sure you soaked it in too, Black.
But you got to think that fits his original character. Y'all remember when he was like the Connecticut Blue Blood, and then he was terrorizing.
It was him and Ric Flair on Booker. So guys like you don't win titles.
and Gerald, what made me mad is that the WrestleMania match, they made us eat it.
Mm-hmm.
He took forever to pin him.
John Cena and Eddie Guerrero. Never forget that. Y'all remember? I showed y'all in the group chat that freestyle he dropped on Chavo and fucking Eddie in the ring that night.
But that Triple H one hurt different because everybody know the storyline is supposed to be the black man come up and win.
No, but John Cena told these niggas they should be working at home out in front of Home Depot offering the Mo Young
match that could change black history.
Yeah,
that man
still got it 5 times.
Gerald, why did Vince take? They all doing like this pedigree. Triple H took 30 seconds just to pin him.
It was so sad.
And I'm like, they're making us eat this stuff.
Low key, whenever I see that back in the day, I'm like, what if he just decided to just get up and walk out the ring?
I would have considered it, dog.
Hey, that shit would have. But you got to think that was at the height of when Triple H was playing politics game. Him and Steph were fresh married then. Fucking, she wasn't even pregnant with their first kid yet at that point.
You can see the crowd face, dog. They were like, either get over with or just go, man. What are y'all doing?
I love Triple H. His reign of terror was a real thing.
That was a terrible few years, bro.
The Clique were a deadly alliance that were only combated by the Undertaker and the Bone Street Crew. Undertaker, Yokozuna, the Godfather. You wasn't playing no politics with them niggas. The screw job would have never happened if Vince would have just listened to the Undertaker. Bret Hart would have dropped the belt to the Undertaker, and then Undertaker said he would drop the fucking belt to HBK the Raw after.
Y'all remember then the era that The Rock said, "Hey, bro, Shane Helm's over. He can beat me," and then next week Triple H buried him.
Triple H is like, "I'm knocking that nigga down. He eat the pedigree, son. Spinebuster pedigree over with."
I'm like, this dude just beat The Rock, and he gets squashed the next week.
Like straight squash.
I'm like, nope.
Shit.
I forgot. They said he did more than that. The Rock would like put people over, which is interesting about if you hear about The Rock now, his career, and how people saying he is. Which I don't. But back then, The Rock would put anybody over.
Yeah.
And Triple H would come right behind him and bury him instantly.
The Rock had like that meteoric rise. So you gotta think he was Rocky. He was Rocky Maivia. Then he was freaking.
Which Triple H and Sean also tried to get Rocky Maivia out.
So they tried to get him out of there then. And then they ended up with the Nation of Domination to sort of combat DX, you know what I mean, storyline wise. And we got the actual The Rock came from the Nation of Domination and just blew up from there. We got the iconic Stone Cold feud, him and Triple H. I mean, Rock had so many good feuds, it's not funny. But I've noticed time and time again, as I watch those matches back, I don't think The Rock was ever like, The Rock's amazing, but his moveset was never like the craziest.
No, he was simple.
It was very, very reserved. But
it was
his aura, like if you think about it now,
go watch him and Hulk Hogan again and tell me they did nothing for the whole match.
I've always thought Hulk Hogan is garbage. But tell me now, in what wrestling promotion is the People's Elbow going to be a finish in wrestling today? Could you imagine The Rock's moveset in modern wrestling? Most of his finish, people think the rock bottom, which is a Uranagi, niggas use that as transition moves now. Fucking, I mean, think about the sick ass Uranagi Roman hit out of the corner on fucking Rey Mysterio back when he was first starting this domination run. Y'all remember that shit? It was one of the sickest.
He threw Dominic. Dominic out
I was gonna say, like Roman has monopolized the transition Uranagi. Jacob Fatu's got a super sick Uranagi too, but it's kind of crazy. Same way with HBK and the super kick. A lot of the older guys' movesets, their finishers and signatures are transition moves now.
Yeah,
but I think that's a different conversation. But I just thought it was. I thought about The Rock.
I feel the same way about Stone Cold. If you look at some of his matches,
older matches. But
Stone Cold switched it up though. No, because if you look at the ring when he was the ringmaster, when him and fucking
earlier he was good. I'm talking about after like he got that knee injury.
And I'm talking about when he was
he's most over too, by the way.
I think when the Hollywood Blondes, him and Brian Pillman, they were super technical then.
Yeah,
like their drop kick. How often did you see? I don't know if we ever saw Stone Cold throw a drop kick, but Stunning Steve Austin definitely had a snappy drop kick.
Yeah,
I think they had an aura that didn't matter. Like The Rock and Hulk Hogan did have the most limited match I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
and the crowd just cheered.
Hulk was already garbage by then, though. Hulk Hogan got what he deserved. He picked the simplest moveset ever, and it would just happen to be some of the most intensive, simple moves. That fucking stupid-ass finisher of a leg drop, fucking spinal compression's a motherfucker, you racist douchebag.
There's 3 wrestlers that got that aura now. I think Seth is starting to gain it. He's starting to get that kind of aura. Roman has Seth.
Roman.
Yeah, and Brock has that aura too.
Yeah.
No matter what they do.
Brock do the same match every time I've seen. Brock does the same moves at every match, and it don't matter. We just
but he does them so well. He's so in tune with that shit.
Yeah,
it's so natural.
Suplex, L5, run through the wall because he's gonna run through the wall.
Steer through the barricade.
he's gonna miss every time.
He might hit a spine buster if he's feeling fancy. F5 the referee through a table. German suplex the cameraman.
Yeah.
F5 the main dude in the match over. Or he
go get a goddamn bulldozer, flip the fucking ring.
Which was great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Fire.
That was tight.
One of them. And Roman sold it. Roman sold that shit perfectly.
Oh, yeah, it was
great. When he flipped the ring on it and Roman just rolled right out at that angle.
That's why Brock liked working with Roman. Like, I can see Brock. And I tell you the truth, I can see why Brock didn't want to work with Bray Wyatt.
I saw somebody try and compare the Elite and fucking Death Triangles for 7 series to the little trilogy that Roman and Brock had, which is, we know it's far more than a trilogy, but just that last run where it all ended with Roman standing in Madison Square Garden holding both fucking belts over Brock Lesnar laying on the steel steps, bruh. That picture will live in wrestling history.
Before we get out of here, I want to talk about this to Gerald. I want to see what Gerald's opinion is. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks at the end of the year going to WWE. How you feel about this? If it happens.
That'd get rid of, well, maybe it might be good for both sides. Maybe you won't get the Chris Jericho
I knew
Gerald
would have an open mind about it.
And WWE gains 3 more stars, known stars, but maybe this will give a chance for the other guys in AEW to kind of say, hey, we can be the step ups, maybe Adam Cole and FTR, put them in those spots. Not
I
together,
think FTR is going back to WWE.
I feel like that too. Yeah,
they didn't even wish them out. Sean Ross absolutely like, they're good at their job. I'm like,
when the Wrestling Observer newsletter awards came out, they congratulate AEW's official Twitter congratulated everybody that won on AEW, but FTR. Even though the Briscoes and the FTR were in that match together, they congratulated the Briscoes and not FTR. Now that could be a work. And we all remember the page that had the WWE on it in the corner. The thing got cropped out and put back later, so it could be a work.
Rhea added to our finishing move, Gerald.
But Rhea, I think is prime. She needs a title.
Yeah.
She puts her knee on the neck while she does the finish, which looks very painful. But I agree with y'all. I think it'll be a good thing. I think Chris Jericho Chris Jericho the worst thing in AEW to me. I don't know. I don't know what else you can possibly be doing.
Oh, Gerald, do you think that? Because I had a little theory, and maybe I've asked you this before. I feel like them winning the trios titles was Tony's way of sort of getting the Young Bucks out of the tag division and keeping Kenny Omega out of the singles division, so he could give some more people some time.
Yeah, that's exactly why he did it. Like you put them in a best
especially
of 7
when you got
with Death Triangle.
7 weeks, 7 8 weeks that fucking ties them up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But now going into Revolution, I sort of how would you feel? Do you think? I think that the House of Black could definitely be plausible trios champions over the Elite if you're trying to reintegrate them back into the singles division, like it feels like you might be.
The first team that come up to me is House of Black. My only thing is I feel like Aleister Black, and he should be where MJF is when it comes to where his total package is, what he can bring, how he is, like how he was in NXT. Like I feel like Aleister Black is top tier level.
Malachi Black. My bad.
Malachi.
I said Aleister first.
Yeah, Malachi. I feel like he's top tier level. And if you put a guy like him in that, pool of the MJS, the Daniel Bryan.
I agree. I thought he should have won the TNT title before the House of Black stuff when Cody was still there.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, just his move, the Black Mass is just.
I feel like I went on a little bit of a tangent before you got here, but I feel like Brody King and Buddy Matthews and Malachi, I feel like they could actually make for super formidable. And I'm not trying to make a knock against Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks. I just feel like we know the Young Bucks are far better in a tag team. Kenny Omega's far better as a singles. And don't get me wrong, Malachi Black's amazing as a single too, but I think the House of Black are just super good in the ring together, and their aesthetics works. They've even found a little place for Gothic Julia Hart. I mean,
yeah, the Elite and Damage Control are in the same area with me. Split them up.
So do you think that even though we've had this little build up come Revolution it's either this Saturday or next Saturday? I'll have to check. I think it's next Saturday or Sunday, one of those. But do you think we see the House of Black beat the Elite for the titles, or do you think the Elite hold on?
If we don't, the House of Black is buried, and I feel like Malachi Black and Buddy both want to go be with they
significant others.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I've seen, Buddy, if you're watching this, we've all seen you on Twitter. You getting salty about them Dominic freaking. And it's funny because now we know Andrade does not understand English because Buddy made a tweet that telling Dom that Rhea Ripley's got a real poppy at home, something or other from when he was having the conversation with Charlotte last week on SmackDown. Freaking, and for some reason Andrade retweeted Buddy and flipped him off, and it was like, but it was But I just thought it was funny. But definitely, same with. I mean, think. And Andrade. That's another nigga who's not on AEW TV who is under contract. Would probably like to go back and be with his wife. I mean, Charlotte. Look, Charlotte, Rhea, and Buddy, Aleister Black, and Zelina. I mean, Zelina Vega. I wouldn't. You couldn't pay me to work away from her. I mean, I understand. I'm sure they were perfectly confident in their freaking relationship. But could you just think about your old lady looking like Zelina Vega, just traveling around the country with mad muscular niggas? Same thing with Rhea Ripley, especially if you see her on screen with Dom. What happens when the cameras turn off and they're still at that nice restaurant where they were just terrorizing Dom's parents at?
I mean, Dom is from prison, so
I was going to say, ex-con Tom could be working there, stuck his thing on her. That's why.
I love that gimmick.
That's why it feels like Buddy's pressed on social media. But low key, I like that he's willing to, because it adds to the story for all of us smart nerds and super in the business types. Freaking.
Shout out to Dom for like, hey, bro, you did kiss my sister. I guess we got
as soon as I started seeing those memes, I was like, that's so amazing. Because
shout out to Dom for bringing it up too. Like, hey, bro, remember this?
I was gonna say he was macking on your. I was gonna say, nigga, you took out his dad's eye. We ain't forget you helped Seth Rollins pop Ray's eye out on the steps. Ray just got the left eye hole back to his mask a couple of months ago.
That nigga had to wrestle was terrible during that time. Oh my god, that was horrible.
The Thunderdome era was different. No crowds. Fucking Vince was like,
I did slap the out of Buddy Matthews.
Hey, smack the taste out that nigga's mouth. You better listen to the Messiah, nigga.
Oh, but shout out to Roman Reigns during that era too. The beginning even when he was a big dog when he first started, because he said, "I want Buddy Matthews one-on-one." They put on
but I think the smartest thing he did was when he took that break during COVID because he didn't want to compromise his immune system. I think him being far away from I think him being far away from the Thunderdome era during that point in time when all that whack shit was going on was super smart of him. Even if it was for his health, because as we know, people who go through chemotherapy with cancer, their immune systems are shot for a good long time afterwards. So it made complete sense for him not, even though with all the precautions, it made sense. But I think that was super smart, him not being there, because I wouldn't have liked to see some Roman Reigns theatrical match. I feel like that would have been bad.
Hey, let's end the show. It's been about an hour.
Wrap it up. We cracked the hour mark.
Match of the week. What y'all got? Men's and women's.
For women's match of the week, I gotta give it to Lita and Becky Lynch beating out Damage Control.
Same.
And
same for me too.
For the men's, I'm gonna go Cody and Chad Gable. I
hate to say same, but I gotta do the same.
I'm doing Wesley Frazier. That match is incredible.
I low-key, because I know last week
Melo and Tyler Bate was amazing.
Evil Uno and John Moxley for some reason, because I enjoyed that match, even though it's just John Moxley bleeding. But there were definitely I enjoyed the Face of the Ladder match. I'm glad the Face of the Revolution ladder match. I'm glad Powerhouse Hobbs
might be on NXT soon.
I'm glad Powerhouse Hobbs is getting some shine. I think that's super good. He deserves it. Shout out to Takeshita for hitting a Blue Thunder Bomb off the ladder. That shit was bellissimo. But yeah.
I think I got Wesley versus Frazier. My match of the week. That crap was amazing.
Okay. I like the build up.
Actually, since we all went the same on the women's match of the week, and this will be surprising for me, I'm gonna give a singles women's match of the week to Tony Storm and Riho. Man, Tony Storm got fat ass, y'all. And Riho's Riho, but shout out to them. They get the.
Please put Jimmy Hatter back on TV because I'm tired of Tony Storm and Saraya spray painting everybody every week.
Yo, like I said, when Saraya spray painted Tony's ass for her to give old girl the Sweet Cheek music, I was like, this is crazy. Although they should go back to calling it Sweet Cheek music because the hip attack just sounds lame at this point.
I'm just tired of them doing this little weird gimmick. This not that
The
nobody finds.
the wannabe NWO stuff. Only they're just
Yeah.
spray painting the L's.
Yeah, it's like they. I'm like, both of y'all are not like 19, so it don't work as well. It's like y'all not as hip to do L and W community. It's not like it's not y'all group. Y'all older than
this
me.
is not WL. This is not the WL. There's nothing. If they just start spray painting poggers on people's backs,
Yeah.
no.
You are Poggers community. You are Hassan. You are not that age.
But Afro Comedy 765 on everything. Casual Conversations on Wednesday. Yeah, that's it.
Gerald, after the show, we're gonna look at these things. So Gerald, stick around. Gerald, where can they find you at?
Back there.
They're
My
back there.
house.
Go look him for his house.
Right
Don't
back
actually
there.
go to his house because I will fight.
Don't you talk to me or go anywhere near. That's where I'm found.
That's where he's at. No, that's where he's at.
Right there.
Me, you can find me over on 99 Media. I'm all that stuff, conglomerations, everything. You can find me there. I appreciate y'all, by the way.
Most definitely.
We out. And y'all know how we end this show. You might not know us yet, but soon you will. But until then, it's
who are these niggas?